right. Welcome back to another episode of my movie review series, episode 478. I think I finally said the word movie very clearly. All these damn years. Well, anyway, yeah. 478 of the movie review series. I think I said it again very clearly. Anyway, last week I said that I was going to finally talk about this movie, the multicolored superhero team, the teenagers with attitude. Yes, Tommy, Kimberly, Billy, Rocky, Adam, Aisha. Finally, after all these years, man, I've been putting this thing off since the pandemic started. I've been putting this shit off. Finally, after all these years, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie. Yes, 1995, man. It is now. By the time the 30th come around, it will be exactly 30 years since this movie came out. So I picked the right time to schedule this movie in the weekend. In this weekend. So man, I tell you, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Do you know how much of a phenomenon this show was? Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I mean, if you lived through the 90s, you know, okay? If you're a Power Ranger fan, you most definitely know how much of a phenomenon this show was. Hell, man, this show, well, nothing is going on as far as new stuff is concerned. Not yet, at least, you know. There is the Disney Plus deal that just happened. And next year we will be seeing the Rangers again. Not at the movies, but on TV. Kind of, sort of. They'll be streaming. But still, anyway, Do you know how much of a phenomenon this show was? I mean, man. Yeah. Everybody wanted a piece of the Power Rangers. Every kid out there wanted a piece of the Power Rangers. When those big 12-inch tall action figures came out, everybody wanted those action figures, man, including me, you know. My mom still got the scars, I tell you. But I tell you, man, everybody wanted a piece of the Power Rangers. Everybody wanted to be a Power Ranger. Everybody wanted to be with Power Rangers. Oh, everybody's first crush, Kimberly. Woo! That Pink Ranger, man, yes. I tell you, Oh, that's right. Let me read off the actors' names. In case y'all don't know who is playing the Rangers here. Karen Ashley. Ooh, Karen Ashley. Johnny Young Bosch. Steve Caderas. Jason David Frank, the late, great Jason David Frank, rest in peace, my brother. Amy Jo Johnson, David Yost. Those are the Rangers, man. Then you got Bulk and Skull, you know, Paul Schreier and Jason Narvey. And then you got Paul Freeman from Raiders of the Lost Ark. Paul Freeman playing Ivan Ooze. The main villain in this movie. You expect to see Rita and Zed, right? Well, you do get Rita and Zed for a little while, you know. And then, you know, once they woke up Ooze turned on them and turned into a snow globe, you know. So we get Rita and Zed for a little while, you know. We get a nice little redesign of Lord Zed, you know. His brain is actually moving and shit like that, you know. You know, his voice has changed. You know, it's a lot grovelly. It's a lot darker. You know, after 2,000 years of searching, you are finally within my grasp. And now let's crack this egg. I think it's the same guy that voiced Zed. You know, but they just changed his name. They just changed the tone of his voice. But yeah, I tell you though, man, this movie, for a kid movie, it's still for kids, I mean, yeah, you think that, they'll give it a PG-13 rating, and, they would give it, a little bit of a MCU like feel, as far as the action is concerned. But no, it's like the TV show. Only thing is, it's just on the movie screen. It's on the silver screen, the big screen. It just has a higher production. Once you got the Tangas in there, the Tengu Warriors, but on the show they were known as the Tangas. But still, that's a whole other story. Yeah, once they got the Tangas in there, but yeah, we got a little bit of we got a lot of practical effects, but we got the visual effects also. We got some special effects. But yeah, once we saw the new Ninja Zords, when we saw the Ninja Zords, okay, do I put this in the Ninja Theater category, in the Ninja Theater playlist? Laundry is done. Should I put this in the Ninja Theater playlist? I think I should. They got the power of the Ninjetti, so yeah, I think I should put this in the Ninja Theater playlist. So anyway, yeah, when they got the new Ninja Zords, the effects of them compared to the Ninja Zords that we got on the show, I prefer the show more than I prefer this movie. I'll tell you that much. you know, I mean, yeah, the effects, with the Zords, you know, I mean, yeah, we saw that they are Zords, but we saw that they are animals, but metallic animals, giant metallic animals. We saw that giant, giant, colorful metallic animals. You saw that, but it just didn't look very good. It didn't look finished. But then again, this is 1995. So that's the only pass I'll give it. 1995. It looked like an unfinished video game. The Zords did, especially the Ninja Megazord. It looked like an unfinished video game. But then again, it's 1995. Technology wasn't as advanced. But then again, I shouldn't really give that an excuse because Mortal Kombat came out in the same year, and the effects of that movie look a lot better. So look a lot better than Power Rangers. But then again, Mortal Kombat did not have giant mechanical, animalistic machines that comes together to make a giant fighting robot. They didn't have that. But still, Mortal Kombat, with their practical effects with Goro, he was a puppet on top of a puppet. It was a puppet on top of a guy in a suit. That's what they did. But but yeah, that's a whole other thing that I already covered years ago. But yeah, anyway, yeah, I'm stalling. I don't know why, but yeah, yeah, yeah. The effects didn't look. It didn't look too hot, and I shouldn't give it any excuses because certain movies that came out in the mid '90s had better special effects than Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie. You know, Independence Day, Starship Troopers. Mortal Kombat. So yeah, just just besides that point, yeah, the effects was not good. The theme song in this movie, it wasn't exactly the theme song from the TV show. It sounded like more of a cover of the theme song from the TV show. I see what they were doing. They're trying to separate the show from the movie. And in a way, yeah, this movie is not exactly canon to the show, but they took the concept from this movie and put it in the show, and the show was a lot better than the show was a lot better than the movie. So yeah, I tell you, man, yeah, all in all, the martial arts action in this movie is just, thank God you got legitimate martial artists like Jason, like JDF, and you got Steve Kaderis and Johnny Young Bosch, legitimate martial artists doing their thing, and then you got Karen and Amy Jo and David, doing their thing with the choreography, So yeah, with that, well, with that being said, yeah, the martial arts is top notch. The action is really good, Once the ninja, the Rangers, once they got the ninja powers, and then once they got the great power, which turned them back into Power Rangers, once all that happened, when they became Rangers again, and then they got the Zords, that was the gratification for us kid fans out there. So yeah, I tell you, man, this whole thing, it is fairly very good. So yeah, fairly very good, but it could have been better. But the show, when they redid the whole thing, they made it better. Yeah. So yeah, I tell you, yeah, Dulcia, Dulcia, played by Gabrielle. Damn, what's her last name? Shit, forgot her last name. But yeah, originally it was supposed to be Mariska Hargitay, Olivia Benson herself. Yeah, believe it or not, But yeah, they got the this other chick, this Australian actress, and they got her to play Dulcia, and she came in, she played that character, she helped the Rangers get the great power and everything like that. So yeah, she helped them get the ninja power, and then she sent them on their way to get the great power, just turning back to Power Rangers, and then they went back to Earth, and then they fought Ivan and his giant morphological titans, I think it was called. And yeah, they fought his two titanic machine monsters. They fought them, and yeah, they won the fight, They fought Ivan, and when he took control of one of those giant machines, they fought him. They didn't fare too well against him because he is just so damn powerful. I mean, hell, when Lord Zed tried to get a piece of Ivan, Ivan, that blast on his chest, that just tickled, So yeah, he turned Rita and Zed into a snow globe. So yeah, I tell you, yeah. So yeah, Ivan, yeah, one powerful son of a bitch. And it took a comet to beat Ivan. The Rangers did not beat Ivan, okay? The Power Sword was destroyed in the fight. So yeah, the Rangers did not beat Ivan, Once Aisha hit that red button and need Ivan in the nards, Wolfman has nards. When they need him in the nards, yeah, he started to float away into space, into the comet's trajectory, and yeah, boom, he spaced us. So yeah, I tell you, man, yeah, this movie though, yeah, fairly a really good movie, nostalgically speaking, it's a really good movie, but in adulthood, I can say that it could be better. It could have been better. Thankfully, the TV show made it better. So yeah, yeah, I give it a good 4 out of 5. This movie, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie, A good 4 out of 5. Yeah. Yeah. That's my review, Jack, and I'm sticking to it. Now, next week. Next week, man, we get serious. I don't know if I should get in the shadows or stay, just like this, be in the light, I don't know if I should do that next week. I don't know. It's still hard for me to determine whether or not Predator is a horror movie. It's still hard for me to determine that. I mean, every other Predator movie I did, I did it in the light, kind of sort of with Prey because I was in the dark era at that time. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, yeah, next week a Predator movie. I think you know what it is because it's like the hottest thing Hulu put out since Prey. So yeah, you keep it locked right here for that. Next week, kid. Check out my other shit right here. Subscribe to me right here. But in the meantime, in between time, Jack. Let's do it, guys. It's Morphin time. Because this show is off.